Visa Europe has launched a publicity campaign to derail payment card reforms passed last year by the European Commission that include caps on interchange fees, rollbacks of many of Visa's rules for merchants, and encouragement of new players and alternative forms of payment. Visa Europe has launched a publicity campaign to derail payment card reforms passed last year by the European Commission that include caps on interchange fees, rollbacks of many of Visa's rules for merchants, and encouragement of new players and alternative forms of payment. The revised version of the EC's Payment Services Directive, known as PSD2, was approved by the Commission in July 2013. Visa Europe is hoping that it can either convince new EC members to revisit the changes or convince national legislatures within the EU countries to reject legislation implementing the changes. The most obvious change: capping the interchange fees for consumer debit card transactions at 0.2% and for consumer credit cards at 0.3%. A proposal that would apply to all card transactions in the Eurozone starting in mid-2015, and one that Visa Europe says would actually raise costs for consumers. Interchange rates currently vary wildly throughout the Eurozone, and even within the same country between card brands. For example, according to the EC, in 2013 Visa-branded credit interchange rates ranged from 1.8% in Germany to less than 0.5% in France, while Visa debit rates topped out above 1.7% in Germany, dropping to 0.2% in Italy, Ireland, Sweden, and 5 other countries, and even lower in Finland. Cross-border debit interchange is already capped at 0.2%. The problem with the EC's low interchange caps is that, while they're well-intentioned, they'll actually increase costs for consumers, reduce convenience and innovation, encourage a shadow economy, and promote the use of cash, wrote Mark Temmerman, Visa Europe's Director European Affairs, in a series of columns in The Economist's European Voice. Consumer costs will rise because it is unlikely that retailers will pass on all, if any, of the savings that they gain from an interchange cut, said Temmerman. Meanwhile, banks may have no other option but to restructure their fee models, which may result in consumers facing new or increased charges for the privilege of having a debit card or even a current account. Temmerman also points to estimates that use of cash costs between €200 and €300 per person per year.